I was born in a country where more than 95% of the population looked just like me. And yet, even though everybody around me had the same complexion, the same level of melanin within them, there was no quote unquote black community. As a matter of fact, one tribe would not get along with the next tribe. There was us versus them going on within that context, just as much, if not more so, than what I've seen here in the Western world. And yet we're sold this idea of the quote unquote black community. Now, if you think that this idea of blackness is something that is original from the people themselves, right? That we created the black community, you got a whole nother thing coming. You have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked, my friend. You see, there was a time when we were called by a specific name within this nation, right? Ends with an N and ends with the Igor. I'm sure you can put that together. Then there came a time where all of a sudden we turned into Negroes. And then came colored. And then came African American. And then came black. And finally, we have POC because they needed a larger group because they needed more of our votes, right? We weren't enough anymore. The 13% that were living on this continent were just no longer enough. There needed to be an injection of more individuals who could move in this group. And so it became POCs, the people of color. And the reasoning behind this was the same reasoning they've used throughout antiquity, throughout time, is to create a certain groupthink, a certain level of mobilizing a group of individuals to vote for the same party or move the same way. And we're seeing this entire algorithm cracked. We're seeing this thing unfold in real time. Yes, there are many who are still given over to the mental plantation, right? They're still bowing down at the democratic plantation. It still is big daddy government for them. They will pledge their allegiance no matter what. They will believe the machine because they are still a part of that machine. But there are those of us who are finally, thank God Almighty, we are finally free at last. We are realizing that, wait a minute, skin folk don't mean kinfolk, right? Just because you look like me doesn't mean you are with me. Like, it blows my mind how we use these things of, my people, my brother, my sister, whenever it is advantageous to us, when we want something or when the person wants something. Like, I'm not your brother, I'm not your sister when you got something going on for you, but as soon as I have something that you want, now I'm your brother, now I'm your sister, all of a sudden, right? That always blew my mind. So I'm supposed to support somebody who is poisoning our community, who is spewing discord and hatred amongst one another, who is taking out their own brother, who is literally execution style taking out their own brothers and sisters, who is distributing, poison throughout the community. I'm supposed to see that person as one of me? I was called a hater for saying that individuals who have committed, deletions of human life need to stay in prison. Imagine that, because I'm black. Oh, you just hating. You supposed to love your black brother. Excuse me? That man is not my brother. The one who does those things is not kin to me. The one that I resonate with is the one who stands for something, the one who is moving righteously, the one who's looking to do better for the whole of civilization, not to take away and destroy, the one who looks to build as opposed to the one who's looking to be destructive. That's my people. That's my kinfolk. There is no quote unquote black community in the same way there is no white community, but that's understood here, right? It's like white people, they're just going to be whatever. They can be whatever they want to be, but God forbid you. And I used to be so quiet about these things. I used to be behind closed doors, just afraid to articulate myself. But I said, nah, I'm not doing anybody any service by standing back here and lying to myself and to everybody else. I'm not doing anybody a service by being another silent voice, afraid of being canceled, afraid of people not liking me. When I would see like the most heinous acts taking place within our so-called community amongst ourselves, and when you try to speak out or hold anybody accountable, you're now deemed as a racist, right? You're now deemed as a white supremacist. Like, this was one of the most mind-blowing experiences I ever had. And I've repeated this story a few times. The first time I was called a white supremacist, I was genuinely confused. I was utterly gobsmacked. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I thought surely they didn't see my little what they call my little avatar, my little profile picture. Like, surely they haven't seen my profile. Maybe they should click and see that. But no, 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 no. This is somebody who watched an entire video of mine and called me a white supremacist. And this was before I used to be, vocal about everything. I was just talking about the poverty complex and the poverty mindset that is programmed into us. And he was saying, well, if you believe that, people, can be more than, or black people of color can rise up from poverty, then you are a white supremacist and an agent of white supremacists. What? Huh? I'm going to be a secret agent before I'm an agent of white supremacy. I am 007, James Bond, shaken, not stirred, before I am a white supremacist. Are you kidding me? Is this ridiculous or ridiculous? Like, there is no quote unquote black community. There are those of us who may be melanated, who want what is best for ourselves and one another, and those who are destructive and imploding. And as my good brother Anton Daniels said, shout out to Anton Daniels, he speaks the truth unapologetic. There are folks who got to be left the hell behind. They're not with you. Like, if you've heard stories of some of these rappers who have been executed within their own neighborhoods. Nipsey Hussle was executed by a dude he was friends with on the street where he bought the entire complex to hire people in his neighborhood to create economy in his own neighborhood. That's where they took his life. Right there, his so-called brothers, who can be closer than the ones who were literally right next to him the entire time he was coming up. How is that your family? This is our community. We need to take care of our community. Them folks are going to drag you to hell and back. I would rather take my money and give it to a young man in a community, in a space somewhere that has no connection to me at all, but that is going to do better with it. That's going to go and become ingenuitive. They're going to go and innovate. They're going to go and create. They're going to do something for the people. They're going to go and get, that doctorate, or they're going to go and start that business. They're going to do something with their life. Not somebody who's begging and pleading because we got the same skin color. Then they're going to take that money and use it to destroy even more people. Absolutely the hell not. And this coming from a dude who's so dope. I was in the game. Statute of limitation. It was more than 10 years ago, so nobody can do a damn thing about that. All associates are either in prison or in a box right now. That's the reality of it. 3 of my brothers, one as recent as this year, lost his life to that life. So I'm not just talking out my aces, okay? I'm not just talking out my behind. I've lived this, and I know what it is to perpetuate that very same narrative that ends in one place. That is utter destruction. It is death. It is chaos. It is greater levels of trauma, and that trauma is manifested in the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. And the only stop that we can put to it is a stop within ourselves. And we need to stop fostering this so-called black community if it's not elements that we don't support. People finally speaking out about, what's going on in the state of hip hop and rap, etc., what they called urban, which is just a sub word for black, right? Quote unquote black music, whatever the hell that means. Oh, this is our people, our music. We got to. No, we don't have to support that trash, that vile garbage that's pushing promiscuity and violence. Are you kidding me? Baby mama and baby daddy culture? Really? That's what we're doing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Y'all don't understand how free and liberating it is just to talk that talk. I used to be so afraid to get canceled. I was afraid to have people coming for me and And I realized, why would you be afraid of somebody who hates themselves? Why would you be afraid to get canceled by somebody who is dysfunctional? Huh? It's like trying to be liked by somebody who doesn't even like themselves. What kind of sense does that make? Absolutely not. Man, to hell with that. We're speaking the truth. We're standing up for what we stand up for. Call me a white supremacist. Call me Uncle Tom. Give me a damn shirt and a hat if you want to. I will be Uncle Tom all day long, but what I will not be is a fool. What I will not be is somebody who stands for dysfunction and chaos and toxicity and stands behind and says nothing because he's afraid of what they're going to say. Oh no, I've deviated from the narrative. It's time for us to start doing some damn research. Just think for ourselves outside of the machine. Stop thinking from a place of hatred. Stop thinking from a place of skin color and gender and think common sense. Imagine that. Imagine if we started living in that way. From common sense, from our own research. In 2016, I was damn near extricated, exiled, excommunicated from half of my family because I started doing research that led me to realize, wait a minute, we're being tricked. We're being bamboozled here. I think we should look a little deeper here. I think we've been lied to here. They wanted no conversation. They wanted to hear none of it. And that was just the beginning. Things got even worse drastically, but they got better for me because I realized, oh, these people don't want to have a true conversation. They just want to be stuck in the same misery that they know. Okay. But for the rest of us who are willing to think for ourselves, free your mind, think for yourself. Free yourself from that democratic plantation. I promise you. I'm not saying that the Republicans are gods or they're this or they're that. What I'm saying is think for your damn self. This is bigger than parties. This is bigger than politics. This is about the truth versus the lie. The machine versus the people, straight up. And I'm not a conspiracy dude whatsoever because I believe in personal power. I don't give a damn about Illuminati, whoever. I'm illuminate myself. I know that the power is within the people, within the individual, so we can do what's necessary. Stop buying into the machine then. Stop giving your money. Stop giving. So I stopped funding the damn machine. I don't fund Big Pharma. I don't buy their products. I take care of my body. I make sure my body gets the proteins and fats it needs. I cut out the sugars and cut out the carbs. Boom. Solution. Imagine that. I'm not going to buy into their propaganda. I'm not feeding into their narrative, feeding into their celebrity culture and celebrity worship and listening to these damn fools talk about what they're talking about. Absolutely not. We need to start thinking for ourselves, folks. This is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. It's bigger than politics. This is about your life. This is about your mind. This is about your mental and emotional health. This is about freedom versus incarceration. I'm not talking about in the physical sense, even though there's an aspect of that. I'm talking about the more dire, the more key. You can be in a prison and you can be free in the mind and you're more free than somebody who was walking these streets. This is about the ability to truly think for yourself. I stand for everybody's right to speak out for themselves, even if I disagree with you, especially if I disagree with you. I want you to speak your mind. I want you to go off in the comments. I want you to do whatever you want to do, but I'm not going to shut my voice down. I'm not going to allow you to police my own thought and my own speech because you don't agree with me. And that's something that was so crazy that I realized when I made that shift and I made that jump, quote unquote, politically, is when I was a full liberal, like I was about every movement. I was blackety black because I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black. When I was that guy, everybody was cool with me. Everybody was cool with me. As soon as I started thinking for myself, I wasn't even right-leaning. I was just questioning things. Immediately, there was a shift in the people around me. Immediately, y'all. It didn't now take not a week when I started actually expressing myself in different circles and I started seeing these different weird looks and all of a sudden people being more aggressive and agitative and eventually it just became downright nasty to me that I was an agent of white supremacy. Now I start getting those, right? That I'm a tool for or a pawn for the white systems of injustice, that I'm a racist. And I'm like, okay, so saying maybe we actually can do for self, that we have the power within ourselves to create the lives that's racism, then shit, I'm a racist then. I guess that's what I am. If that's what being a racist is, then I guess that's what I'm. If that's what being an agent of white supremacy is, I guess that's what I am then, because I believe that you actually have the ability to lift yourself up and create something better for your life. So if that's what it is, then that's what I am. Okay. It is what it is then. Yeah, now's the time, folks. Speak out. Don't be afraid. These folks, they want to cancel you because they don't want to hear you speak because, again, the lie hates the truth. The lie hates the truth. Talk your talk. Speak your speak and say it with your whole damn chest. Too long, those who have been truly in the side of righteousness and light and truth have been so damn silent, while the darkness is loud as hell. Enough is enough.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's night. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see